anybody. Also, I've got assistant product manager Moya Nicodem. Am I pronouncing your last name correctly? Okay. What's up?
Not much. Excited to be here.
Very excited. All right, so let's go ahead and get a little background. We don't have a whole lot of time because we're going to get into this presentation, but you know, how did you get to where you are? You were art director before now.
I stayed in school. No, a lot of hard work. I've been in the industry 12 years, almost all of it with EA Sports. I started the NBA Street franchise as an artist, and I think working closely with the designers throughout the years making features just really excited me this side of it, and fortunately I'm in this role now. It's awesome.
We are, by the way, in the ABC studios here in Times Square in New York City. This is pretty awesome, pretty intense. Right outside behind us, they're having the
not in this room.
Preparing for no, not quite as intense as it is in the next room over. But and behind us, outside in Times Square, they're preparing for the cover shoot and announcement for whoever's going to be on the cover of Madden NFL 13, and that will either be Cam Newton or Calvin Johnson. How do you feel about those two guys?
Either one's an awesome choice. Megatron's got the coolest nickname, but I think a lot of people saw that viral video from Cam Newton, and I think as a person who spends most of my life making Madden, it excites me that our cover athlete loves the game.
Is really into it, and competitive about it.
So that's cool.
By the way, we're going to answer your questions, or as many of them as we can, in next week's Madden NFL podcast. So if you want your questions answered, send them with the hashtag Madden NFL 13. That podcast will be live on May 4th. So not this week as we are out of town, but we'll be recording one next week. And we'll try to get Mike and Larry and those guys in there to answer some of your questions. Also, the next webcast is May 14th, and we're going to be talking about audio. So let's go ahead and get into this presentation. Just a little background. Usually this kind of stuff is only shown behind closed doors, if you will, at the studio internally. But for the first year, we kind of been doing it with NCAA. We're actually going to show you guys what we present to internal people on the new gameplay enhancements. So let's go ahead and get into your presentation, Mike.
Alrighty, here's slide one. But yeah, this year, a lot of great goals. Wanted to have a world-class presentation. We have a new broadcast crew. We want to bring them to life in the game in a special way. And then we have some awesome new work on our career modes, and we wanted to make that feel fresh. So as you play a season, preseason feels different than a Sunday night football game, than a playoff game. So there's tons of variety as you go through the season, both audio, visuals, and you're going to see some of that today.
All right.
So to get world-class presentation, it's really about three things, and we're going to get to visuals soon. So
we're actually going to show you some stuff, believe it or not.
Not just PowerPoints, but it started with when you put the disc in, a fresh new UI look. You're going to see every screen in the game is brand new. The boot flow, in-game, nothing's gone untouched. As it says here, we touched every pixel in the game. We have an awesome art director from NCAA come over to our team this year, Gene Adams. We've pushed the team hard. We've had more improvements than ever before, and we're building on our broadcast. So last year, fans really appreciated our authenticity with cameras, and we've taken that to the next level. Every camera is improved. The camera cuts are amazing. You're going to see a lot of cool stuff today.
All right, let's get into it.
Just keep in mind, this is all work in progress. So
yeah, we should remind everyone that if you've seen the gameplay or photos,
not final at all.
Not final.
This is very much a work in progress.
Sure.
Yeah, all pre-alpha build stuff. Like Andrew said earlier, we don't usually show this stuff publicly this early, so this is exciting for us, but really cool. So yeah, put the disc in. You're going to see this network-inspired. You're going to hear this network-inspired. It feels like a sports center, an NFL network, fly through.
Yeah, you kind of go through this digital tunnel kind of thing right here.
Yeah, and it pumps you up because it feels like you're about to watch Epic Sports Center.
Sure.
In this case, you're going to play it. And that leads us to our brand new main menu. Looks totally different, but what's really cool about this is it's really about a social experience. We're connecting you with your friends. It's inspired by a lot of the modern, multi-platform interfaces. But really, it's about bringing last year we had great Madden moments, so as they, your latest Tim Tebow comeback, it's coming right to you on this menu, getting you into the game, showing you where your friends are, connecting you with those experiences. So we're really excited about this, and we feel like it's kind of our future of interface.
I think people are going to look at this slide and probably try to gather some information about.
Oh yeah, this would be definitely a Zapruder film style film to pause on. But and then it goes right into the game. So you launch into a game, and everything you see from pregame is going to be totally new. And this is just a screenshot, not a full video yet, but Ray Lewis in a set. A lot of games, the bigger games like a Sunday Night Football game, they'll do a lot of pre-produced pieces to build the hype. You've got your Ray Lewis, you've got your Drew Brees.
Right.
Really pumps you up. Awesome transition into the live action. And then all new interface. So, awesome animation, awesome graphics. This is the same quality as you're going to see on a CBS, an NBC, an ESPN. Every banner's new. Every bit of UI inside the game is brand new, and it feels authentic to the NFL broadcast experience. What do you think, Moya?
It does look brand new.
Yeah. That's all? Okay.
I'll get into more later.
New lineup banners, and I know last year people were excited that we added these. There was some disappointment that we only showed 5 starters. These will cycle through and show all 11 players on both sides of the ball. There's great new commentary for these too, but you'll hear about that later, not today. But yeah, you can see it's all coming together. Our new ticker, new player banners.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, it really makes you feel like you're watching an NFL game on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, so what would you say this is? This new design is inspired by multiple broadcasts, or one in particular, or?
Well, I definitely wanted, something that's ownable, an EA Sports Network type look. So you look at the CBSs, the NBC, you look at ESPN, the best of the best, anything Troika's worked on. But it's really our own and intended to be something we can build on year after year and have that same level of quality you'd expect on a major network.
Well, it looks really nice.
Thank you. So yeah, even more like cool coaches challenge. This stuff's really like what you'd see on TV, and really cool.
So you got both sides there, both coaches' angles, kind of.
Yeah. Brand new halftime. We didn't have this last year, but at the half, getting a stat recap before you go in, you're hearing about what's up, what's happened so far, what's going to happen the rest of the game. Pretty nice stuff. A new montage. So going into, when you watch a game going into a quarter break or halftime, they, really tell the story of what's happened in the game so far. It's mixed with some cool hype stuff, so you're actually going to see some of our run-out stuff from last year, like a Seahawk flying, cut in with like the great touchdown pass, a great tackle, a great spin move. All this stuff, weave together in a really artistic way to create a cool story.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the halftime montage last year, and you guys have just built on that.
Yeah, I mean, the one disappointment there was too repetitive and not specific enough.
Sure.
So you're going to see your hits, you're going to see, even better camera work on them. Just really amazing stuff. We're really excited about it. It's going to tell more of your story, but incorporate all these great elements all the way from the locker room to the field. Stuff that you're used to seeing on TV, but really in these types of ways in an authentic broadcast. And now that takes us to lighting.
All right.
So another big year of lighting moving forward in Madden. You see this awesome shot of Peyton Manning doing what he does, directing traffic. But we've got HDR lighting in the game this year. It's made a huge difference. It's such a big part of broadcast. It's how you get rich details in your blown out areas and in your darks. It makes the game feel like there's even more rich texture detail.
So one thing that people might not know about you is you are actually an NFL photographer, like just part-time or on the weekend.
His credentials down by the sideline.
So what, for those who don't know, kind of explain what HDR lighting is.
Well, a lot of people have iPhones, right?
Right.
So it's a little tricky little setting that if you see a room, it's more what your eye does.
Okay.
Your eye can see a lot more details than a camera can, in like darks and lights. This is what this does. It really brings out a lot of rich details. But one reason it's great for replicating a real NFL broadcast is the shadow side. This is with HDR lighting. It's in shadow. One of the things we really struggled, that's last year.
Oh, wow.
So one of the things we struggle with in a Madden football game is because it's an outdoor event, there's often harsh shadows covering 2/3, half of the field. You see this a lot if you watch a game in Dallas. You'll notice that during a kickoff, maybe half the field's in shadow. They'll start off in the sun, they'll kick it into the shadow, and you'll see this dynamic exposure change. So this is great for gameplay as well, as that often those games where you were playing in shadow, it'd be harder to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
So this is not just a make it prettier enhancement, this is a authenticity thing, and it helps you play the game better. So we're really excited
back
about
and
that.
check out the
So let's go
previous
to
one,
the,
yeah.
that's
wow.
with. So really authentic to what you see on TV, plus it's going to help you play the game. So it is really exciting.
Just because I know people are going to ask in some of these slides, these are not the new Nike uniforms,
Right, yeah, I
but
was gonna
don't
say
worry.
that.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there. So like, you know, we're showing some stuff early
Work
here.
in progress.
Yeah.
So there you go. And then the next awesome camera improvement is motion blur. So one of the things when we started to make our authentic broadcast last year with all the real camera locations, one of the things that definitely fell short is that, you know, that smoothness. We had all these tight shots of guys panning across the field, and we know we needed motion blur right away. Like, you know, pause any game when you're watching TV at home, and you're going to see that half the people are blurry.
Yeah.
What's great about ours is it's a pretty sophisticated system to be running in a game with 22 high-res players on the field, but
Sure.
you can see here, you know, on this guy that's flipping,
Right.
his core isn't moving as fast, so it's not as blurry, whereas feet that are moving exceptionally fast and his arms here,
Right.
they're more blurry. So it's a really sophisticated system. It looks great in action. You're actually going to see a video in a little bit that shows off just what a, you know, addition to the game that's going to be.
It's one of those things that you may not notice until you see it and then try to go back. Kind of like, oh wow, I never noticed how good this looks compared to.
Yeah, it just makes everything look smoother too. So
Right.
like, and more natural. The human eye is, I mean, everyone listening to this probably watches several hours of TV a week, if not a day, and you're just so trained to see things through that world, and this is just makes the game feel less artificial and more natural.
Right.
Even though, like you said, people might not go, oh, there's motion blur. It'll feel better.
Right.
You know, continue to improve our night lighting. Almost every video game has a strength. They're great at natural lighting outdoors, or they're great at, you know, unnatural lighting indoors. So we did a lot of work here to make our night lighting a lot better. We're now having multiple light vectors, so replicating that there's, you know, 2 sets of banks
Sure.
lighting up both sides looks more realistic, and that's what we're trying to do, is make an authentic NFL game. So it looks great, and we're excited about that.
And you can kind of see the difference in the color too. You know, this might be a little nerdy, but
Well,
you know,
we
the
like
difference
that.
between sunlight and the fluorescence like that, it just kind of puts a different color on everything.
Yeah, for sure. And then, you know, did a lot of work last year to get all the real sun positions for every stadium throughout the time of year correct. You'd see the sun move across the sky, taking it to the next level. We have a whole dynamic sky system where the clouds are actually moving. So you're now not just seeing the sun, but you're also seeing clouds change throughout the game. And it looks as beautiful as hand-painted skies, but they're dynamic. And, you know, now you're really going to see that those shadows and the sun and the clouds, all of it's working together. So if you played a game from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m.,
Right.
you could see this amazing, you know, day happen in a realistic fashion. It looks great all the time.
You've even got that Michael Bay lens flare going there too.
It's all about Michael Bay. No, but it's more about getting those camera optics correct,
Right.
and authentic to what you see on TV. Here's just a really quick shot of the progression as you go through the day. So another enhancement here is the fields. This takes up most of what you see. On the left, you see a really low-res NFL shield.
Right.
So the improvements to the field are this. We've improved degradation. It looks amazing, and it's more pixel perfect. You know, the actual size of feet looks great. In addition to all the kick-ups we added last year, the blades of the grass, they used to be like supersized, like a blade of grass like as big as your arm. Now they're accurate scale. They look great. You can zoom in really tight, and it looks, when they're next to a feet, they look accurate. And then tightened up all the graphics, so the field lines and all the logos have so much more resolution that you don't have any like loss, and it looks fantastic.
It just looks, obviously,
and,
much more high res there.
Also, we worked a lot to make sure that the field looked great from every camera angle we shoot the game from. So.
Moya complained all of last year about the pixels on the field,
God,
so finally she's happy. Finally.
I mean,
This
but
is
in
all
all
for her.
honesty, when I saw the game played at a media event we did, I was watching the game and I'm like, you could really tell that the color on the field was what it should be. And I was just like, oh, that's a really big difference from what it was last year.
Sure.
Yeah, we've had splotchiness in the game before. It kind of looked like maybe some oil spills throughout the turf, but this is a lot more authentic. NFL fields are amazingly kept.
Looked like there was a fungus.
Yeah, fungal outbreak. We're really excited about this. And then, everyone's been clamoring for these, but the Nike uniforms. We had amazing early access to this stuff. They wanted to partner with us, the NFL and Nike. It was so secretive that I actually didn't see a lot of this stuff until a week ago.
Oh, wow.
Dean Adams had a secret room in our office, blacked out windows where only a couple artists were allowed to even see the materials, hold the materials. So we locked it down. It went off without a hitch, but we're really excited to have these, and we're keeping all the old things, so we're just building this awesome library of all these great uniforms from the past. So if you're a fan of something from the past, we have it, and you got these new ones.
There's the Saints.
So one of the big things is like that collar design, multicolored collar. They changed the NFL shield, the Nike logo, obviously, but this cool padded belt design that's inspired to put more protection around the hips.
When you zoom in, you can see the mesh on the stripes on the side of the pants.
Yeah, all the new pant stripes have ventilation, which are pretty cool, and like all those details are really there. And you could zoom into anything in our game, and it looks fantastic. A lot of the teams didn't go over the board with overhauls to the uniforms, but
was that kind of? I don't know. If
I think it was really up to the teams, like how far they wanted to go with their brand. But I think they're all super excited about the materials and the lightweight. And
anyone who's seen the Seattle uniforms knows they decided to get a little more creative.
We're gonna have a couple of those shots here in a couple seconds, but these are just some of the great shots of these uniforms in action. But here's the one that everyone's really excited about. Seattle Seahawks, really cool details. The helmet's actually got two different materials on it. It's got this kind of, woven kind of pattern to it. It's pretty exciting. Here's a great shot. You can really see the details there. What's cool about this uniform is when the Nike guys talk about, they talk about it almost like a Jordan shoe, where they've taken all these inspirations. Like, I believe this pattern on the helmet has something to do with a reference to the 12th man. So there's all these like kind of cool designery details in there.
I think Nike did a really good job on these.
So we're gonna have, a lot of people have been talking about the two-tone shoes. So now like Seattle will wear like a shoe that has both the blue and the green in it. We're gonna have that in our game as well. We've never supported that before, but trying to keep pace with, the NFL and all the changes.
Nice.
So there's a great shot of that collar, and
my Broncos went back to the orange for their home.
The Orange Crush is back, and so we'll have all those details again, like what teams are wearing what, where they're going to be. We have this cool feature in the game that allows you to, Seattle brags that there's like over 20 plus combinations of that uniform they can wear together, and we have a feature in our game that allows people to save off different combos and wear those in game, so that's pretty cool too. So this one, I think, everyone was excited about. new broadcast team and what that meant to overall Madden's audio. We're not going to talk about that
All right,
today.
let's just show them.
No. So everyone knows by now, Nance and Sims, really excited to have them, and everyone's used to seeing them like this. They set up every game with a story. We're used to seeing them, Jim Nance and his signature "Hello Friends" call welcomes you to the game, and we really wanted to capture that. So that's real life.
Oh, wow.
Here they are in game. Every game you're going to see these guys welcome you to it, set up the story. It's really great. Like, we really pushed and pushed and pushed. We know there's this fine line between having these guys in the game, and they can't have any moment where you're like, I don't think that looks good. A lot of work went into making sure that they move right. It's not just stiff bodies with flapping heads. Like,
Sure.
Capturing, their nuances and how they talk to each other. So they were actually filmed, and as they recorded their lines, and then artists would pour over the details over and over again to get every little shoulder.
And isn't this the first time in a Madden game that we've actually seen the broadcast crew?
That is true. I believe in Genesis days there used to be a John Madden.
Oh, okay.
But I think
I
that
don't
was.
think he looked as good as they were.
I think never in a 3D manner.
That's kind of a big jump. Like, you have to feel pretty confident about doing that because it's kind of a big venture to decide to actually show them in the game and instead of just hearing them.
Yeah, well, you have to hit this, like I said, this quality bar, or else it's, actually detracts. So,
Right.
Holding ourselves to standards like a Mass Effect, and like really making sure we hit that quality bar, and with lighting, and one of our designers, Patrick Blanca, the part he's most excited about, he talks about all the time, is that this booth is placed realistically in all the stadiums. So
Okay.
he poured through hours of footage to make sure that when Jim and Phil do a game, they're going to be in the right press box, and you're going to see the right thing behind them. So the whole team really went all out to make this happen, and it's awesome.
And, we're going to take a deeper dive into how we actually got their commentary, how they recorded and everything on May 14th with our third playbook. And that's, it really does make a difference this year, I think.
Right.
So on to other in-game improvements. Did a big overhaul with replays. So last year we got in tech pretty late, and we had replays, but they didn't really tell a story. They were pretty much pick a camera and show you the entire play in full speed, maybe in slow-mo. But this year we've taken, the great tools we have and, directed dynamically every single play that we're going to show you. So great cuts that really tell the story of, the drop back has one camera, the pump fake, and then you cut to another angle to see, the wide receiver running, and then you see the ball up in the air, and then you have this great realistic shot of like a receiver kind of tracking the ball, and it widens out. So having these like storytelling, authentic looking replays is a huge upgrade to the whole broadcast experience. Added tons of new scenes. I think Madden's done a pretty good job here over the years in NCAA, but continuing to add the stories around the field. So we've got stuff in the hallways, in the locker rooms, and more stuff on the sidelines. So there's no time warps in our presentation. Everything has continuity and a lot of variety. And our NFL Films cameras were a big hit last year. We went back, worked with them, over 650 more cameras, adding to that. And before we filmed with them, we'd usually get about 200 new cameras in and probably 50 new scenes a year. So those numbers are pretty staggering with what the team's been able to add to the game.
200 plus new cutscenes is pretty impressive.
It's crazy. But, had a bigger team and, had this high bar that we wanted to hit, and I think we're doing it. So excited about that. And then we talked about a little bit, but adding these montages for halftime and end of game that really tell the story and show off what you did. And they're, I think we got close last year to what they should be. They were just repetitive and not personal enough.
All right, so here we have...
This is an example of a replay. This is a passing touchdown, and like I said, you'll probably see some bugs in these, so
Yep, work in progress.
don't treat us too harshly. But we wanted to show you this.
For.
So let's play it. Let's play it.
Try going back here. All right.
Sorry.
We'll make sure and show that to you later.
Sorry about that.
Actually, this is live broadcasting for you. All right. Moving
move
on.
ahead.
There was a replay, though. We'll show that to you later.
Cool. Maybe on next week's show.
I agree.
All right. So just some quick shots of new scenes. A lot of post-game, pre-game stuff. Here's a post-game with potential cover athlete Cam Newton. Some shots.
Okay.
Some pre-game shots of the guys walking out to the field. Tons of variety. So this isn't something you're going to see all the time, but probably a really big game like a playoff game where you'd see stuff like this. But
So you got different broadcast packages depending on the event.
Yeah,
depending
that's-
on what time of the season it is and stuff like that.
that's the really exciting part is, last year I felt like with the runouts, they were cool and authentic, but you just saw them all the time throughout the whole season. We have captured more of a 1 o'clock game, which is like straight into the action. And then we've captured, in the playoffs, you'll see the runouts. We showed you that Ray Lewis shot, which was from the, kind of pre-produced piece. So throughout the whole season, we're not just showing you different things, we're actually going to talk about different things too. So
Okay.
a week 17 where there's an undefeated team, you're going to hear about that. And that's what Jim and Phil have added to what we've done, and then we're supporting that with great visuals. So enough talk about the pregame. I will say again, there are bugs in this, but we want to show it to you. This is going to be a...
If it plays.
I know.
Oh, I haven't clicked on this one yet. I'm setting it up still, but let's hope it plays. Did earlier. This starts you from more of a 1 o'clock game. I believe this is a rivalry game in Pittsburgh, but you'll get a little taste of Phil and Jim, and you'll see some of the new presentation. But lots of bugs.
Oh no.
We might be able to play these after our break between this and gameplay, so. Or Eric's going to come over
just
here.
talk amongst yourselves. We'll see if we can get this going. I want to make sure that they get to see
So,
this.
Moy, how are you enjoying New York so far?
Oh, great.
That's all?
Fun
That's
so
all you got?
far. Oh, we had NCAA's draft night premiere party was last night.
So how close are you going to be to the action outside behind us when they announce the cover athlete?
Maybe on stage? Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Maybe on
We'll get
stage.
up there. Maybe I'll get you up there.
What
That'd
about
be
you, Mike?
awesome.
You going to take some...
You needed to get your pass credentials on and take your pictures.
Well, we get to spend some time with media today talking about the game, so that'll be cool. A couple hours doing that. And then for the event, I think I'm kind of just going to be a fly-on-the-wall fan, just like everybody else.
So explain how they do these cover shoots for those who can't come out here and witness it. Larry Baltudis is the art director for EA Sports, so he comes out here with his crew and they take it seems like a million different shots of these guys and then touch them up before they put them on the cover.
Yeah, so I got the honor to work with them the last couple of years, and wow, they're super professional. But Tim Mantione is the lead photographer, and they do so much preparation so they don't make mistakes out here when they have an hour to get it done. So it might look like they're just, getting up there and shooting a couple pictures and getting out of there, but he was here last night at midnight setting up. So it's amazing production, and he's one of the best.
And then they edit it all in like Paint, don't they? In Microsoft Paint.
Yeah, Microsoft Paint.
Little pixel
That's great
editing there.
insight. All right, we're up and going. So this is back to the replay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Woo!
Looking for a target in the middle of the field. Touchdown!
Nice.
No, stopping them now. Touchdown. Well, you got to lead and drive down the field and score a touchdown. Now we're going to find out if the other team can stay patient or will they panic.
camera shake, crowd going wild. Terrible towels. People ask me all the time why we don't have terrible towels in the game, but there's proof that we do. Here's the replay. Like I said, total NFL film shot, tracking the ball. You see this shot tons on Larry Fitzgerald catches. The guy in the end zone's got it covered. He's tracking the ball and he widens up just as the catch is made. So really excited. Again, using real life reference to nail these, but so much more artistic and showing off the game in a great way and making a story out of your plays.
Just to reiterate, if you're just joining us, this is not final gameplay. There might be some bugs in here. There might, not final visuals, and it's been toned down a little bit quality-wise to fit in your PowerPoint as well. So don't worry, not final. Pre-alpha.
And then let's go to the pregame.
Black and gold as far as the eye can see must mean we're in Pittsburgh for this AFC matchup between the Bengals and the Steelers. Hello, friends. Jim Nance along with Phil Simms. It always gets ratcheted up, the intensity that is, when you got a divisional matchup at your hands like we do today.
Well, it's an exciting time of year, or it's a different time of the year. When practice is over, you go in there and there's about 20 times more reporters at your locker than there was the week before. So that gets you fired up, Jim, makes you even pay more attention in meetings, and I think makes the football game a lot better.
Well, this game might be all about these groups of linebackers. More and more, these guys are becoming the most athletic players on the field. It seems because they have been relied on to stop the run and then also cover players down the field. They're fast, they're powerful, and man, can they just run through a wall.
They got to be all in one. You said it. Stop the run, cover the pass, and then they want you to blitz and hit the quarterback. But you're right. I think they are some of the most unique athletes on the field today. Size and speed, they're special to watch.
He's put the
All
ball
right,
on
so
the tee and he's about to
I
kick
already
off.
know our fans. Oh, there's more.
Nice tackle. A starter beginning his rookie year in the league from TCU, Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton, this team loves his leadership skills. They like the fact that he's an accurate thrower, and to top it all off, a really good leader.
Okay, so just to reiterate, not final. These rosters are not final. I can already tell that I know our fans.
Obviously, it's Hines Ward.
Hines Ward's not going to be
As
playing.
much as I hope Hines Ward would keep playing, he's not. He's not going to.
Don't worry about it, guys. This is not final. And we do apologize for the technical difficulties. We're in a studio off-site, so it makes it difficult. But
Yeah, a lot of
can
stuff to
carry
take in there. You heard a lot of Phil and Jim. They talked about a rivalry game. You'll notice you really don't notice stitch points. A lot of that stuff is woven together magically behind the scenes, and Madden was really bad at that before, and we're sounding really good there.
All of which we'll cover in our
Yes.
audio playbook.
But you saw a lot of cool new cameras. You saw new scenes. You saw the beginnings of our broadcast package. A lot of bugs with it, but that little cool wipe thing,
Right.
that'll look sweet when we ship. You even saw a QB run out with some commentary, coming onto the field, and our new slick banner there. And and like I said, as you go through the season, the games are going to feel different because those pre-games are going to be different. You're going to see different elements.
And I've had the privilege of seeing the Nance and Sims kind of intro visuals as they've progressed, as you have as well, obviously. And it's come a long way since the very beginning. It's just a lot of hard work putting, like, just even little things like their hand movements and all that kind of stuff, just facial. It's pretty tough. So props to you guys.
Thanks. Yeah, the artists and animators did amazing work on that, and Phil and Jim were really patient with all that extra work they had to do to be captured like that. And but yeah, a lot of work was done to get those guys looking realistic, and like you said, it comes through in subtleties of things like hands not being like.
What do I do with my hands?
I felt like that today. So, yeah, hope you guys liked what you saw. We're really excited about it.
All right, so if you're looking at this final thing, this is just kind of a wrap-up, but all this stuff will be on the web. If you missed any portion of this live webcast, you'll be able to watch it later. We're going to take a quick break. During this break, we're going to show you the first look at the Madden NFL 13 Playbook number 1 sizzle trailer. So we're going to do that, and when we come back, we're going to talk about gameplay number 1. This is the Madden NFL 13 live webcast. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Madden NFL 13 live webcast. This is for Playbook number 1. We talked about presentation first. Now we're going to talk about gameplay part 1.
Part 1.
So there will be a gameplay part 2. Just going to tease that.
Yeah.
Be sure to send your questions regarding this webcast to us on Twitter with the hashtag Madden NFL 13. We will answer as many of those as we can on next week's Madden NFL podcast, which will be May 4th. It'll be live on May 4th on iTunes. Our next webcast is May 14th on the audio enhancements. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'm going to introduce our guests here. We've got Larry Rehart, a.k.a. Legend.
Here we go again with that.
Stop being so humble. Gameplay designer. Also, Clint Oldenburg, also a gameplay designer. Now, you guys, you're not real small guys, so tell us about your background playing football.
Well, I made it to the college level. Played at University of Florida, played quarterback there. But this guy, I'll let him tell his story.
Yeah, I played college football at Colorado State University, 5 years, and then went on to the NFL, drafted by the New England Patriots, played for the Washington Redskins as well, and now I'm at EA.
So, what position did you play?
Offensive tackle.
I was going to say
What gave it away?
cornerback, but
I had to protect pretty boys. I guess.
Yeah.
his blind side. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this pretty quickly.
All
Talk
right.
about some gameplay enhancements here.
Gameplay. Let's jump to it. We're going to talk about just a real quick summary page here. New passing game. Brand new, authentic to what you see in real life passing game. Read and react defensive AI system. Some special teams tuning. Some play calling improvements. Always an important part of the game. And some controller alignment with NCAA Football 13. So jumping right in here. The new passing game. So the big thing, obviously, watching NFL nowadays, teams are throwing it more than ever. With 3 5,000-yard passers in the NFL, something
It's
that
Tom Brady's fault.
Drew Brees, and then Matt Stafford was the other one. Something that only happened twice in NFL history, happened 3 times this past
Right.
year. So, we would kind of, realize the importance of that, and actually talking to Coach Madden too, and how he's talked to us about how the game has evolved into more of a passing game, a shotgun league. Teams pass to set up the run. So it was a big importance for us in Madden NFL 13 to focus on the passing game, and we did it, revamping it in a variety of ways. The first way is a new total control pass mechanic, and what that is you could, in previous years, you could lead with the L stick in certain ways, but we kind of retuned that so to give you the ability to throw receivers open. You can throw into open spaces and zones and really get the pass that you want to try to help your receiver and protect him and keep him away from danger. You can still throw high and low passes on receivers that are standing, like on curl routes, hitches, stuff like that. You can still throw high-low to kind of get them, protect them from defenders coming at them from the side and behind them. And then you can lead down the field and where receivers running. So the big thing here to think about is you have, for example, a slot receiver is running a dig route over the middle against cover 2. Generally, that's not going to be open, but in Madden NFL 13, you can lead him into that open area, the cover 2, where the safeties are split apart. You can lead him into that open area and have success throwing that route.
Getting him the ball, yeah.
So next, here's actually this is an example I just talked about. This is a cover 2, and you see Alex Smith here leading Vernon Davis, who's a monster, by the way, leading him out into open space into the opening of that cover 2.
Just to reiterate, these are not final visuals,
Exactly.
Not final gameplay, all that kind of stuff. This is still pre-alpha, so.
Yeah, we're still early on, still making a ton of improvements on everything. I mean, you're going to see some bugs in here, of course, and our team back at Tiburon's working hard to clean all this stuff up. But
now the gameplay team has been increased by how many?
More than double. More than double.
Okay.
Yeah. Our new general manager Cam Weber came aboard and really has helped emphasize gameplay, and we really, he's given us the support to kind of do more. We've always wanted to do more, and now we have more resources, and with more resources, we're hoping to really, invest in gameplay. That's an important part of the game, some people think. And so it's exciting for all of us that are working on the gameplay team, for Clint and I, to have all these programmers and animators that we can go to and get stuff that we really have been wanting to get in for years. So it's an exciting time.
I do want to remind everyone that we're sorry we couldn't get the trailer that we promised here at the break, but that will be on the website at easports.com/Madden. So bookmark that, and you'll be able to check that out later today. It'll also be on the YouTube channel at some point, youtube.com/EASports. Go ahead.
Moving on, another big change to the passing game is new pass trajectories. We've added over 20 new different pass zones and ball speeds. Previous years, we've only had one ball speed, so you throw a lob to the flat, and it was a moon ball. Your receiver would catch it and be near the sideline, and sometimes either run right out of bounds or play a sideline catch on a swing pass, which is horrible. So you want to get the ball to their playmaker in space, get it out to Sproles and let him turn upfield and do his thing. So what this allows the user to do is it's more realistic, so you can throw the ball over linebackers like I talked about, the cover 2, throwing it into space. Now you can throw it over, in a realistic way as far as the trajectory would be. It's all based on the type of throw, the distance of the throw. Obviously, the further down the field, the higher it has to go on a lob versus if you're just throwing a 5 or 10 yard, like a drag route, it's not going to go way up in the air now. Be high enough to get it over the.
You don't have to have a straight line vision for your guy to be open. You can throw it over the top. You can find windows behind the coverage. I think last year we had, one trajectory?
Yeah, it was one.
And we have over 20 this year,
Yeah.
so it's a huge improvement.
Makes a huge difference, yeah.
So here's it in action here. Here's one example. Again, we're using Alex Smith here. And just that throw right there, just, to the sideline here, that's a lob now, believe it or not. So that.
And that linebacker number 52 probably would have picked it off or knocked it down.
And then here's another great example. Facing all-out blitz here, you see Ponder flip it out to AP in the flat, and, he takes care of the rest of it. But just that little flip right there last year would have gone way up in the air. You would have probably had trouble getting that, been able to play catch and bounds even. So we're really excited about this.
Experienced the moon ball out of bounds where he can't, he just kind of leads him out of bounds, so not anymore.
So it's it's all based on how the guys throw it in real life. I mean that's what really separates the elite guys. The Drew Breeses, the Manning brothers, the Aaron Rodgers. Those guys, they can really throw every type of pass with the touch. I mean they can all throw it hard, but the difference is the guys that can drop it in over coverages. And so another big change we're excited about. New dropbacks. Obviously any quarterback will tell you. It all starts with footwork for quarterbacks. It's crucial to having success and the correct timing of the play. So we had over 20 new quarterback dropbacks. They tie in with the routes on the plays. They're all designed for specific reasons. We really want our users to kind of feel like they don't have to hold down at the snap. You don't have to take control of the quarterback. He'll auto drop back for you. And we want to teach them that this is the correct time. I want you to stay in the pocket. You can talk about the pocket.
That's big on our game. A lot of people play the game and they just want to do that, 20-yard drop back to keep away from the rush. And you actually are a better passer by staying in the pocket, and this function will help you do that.
So as a quarterback, explain to us what the importance of the different types of dropbacks are.
Well, the ones we added, like I said, they're tied into the specific routes. So, for example, longer developing routes like comebacks, like 18, 20-yard comebacks, the cover 2 corners, the C routes that people like to call deep post. So we'll have 7-step drops. There's variations of that. We got a lot of the reference from this from old Bill Walsh, like teaching videos and how he used to teach his guys, and it was cool like seeing the old footage. Anthony White, one of the other designers on our team, kind of found that for us, and we used that as the reference. I mean, that's a pretty good guy to get reference from, and for all the West Coast offenses that everybody runs in the NFL, some version of it seems like.
I mean, we have realistic 1-step drops now for like a quick wide receiver screen.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever seen that before.
No.
3 steps for quick slants, and it all matches with the patterns you're running.
And then screen drops. That's another big change. Again, like Clint talked about, users have to feel like they sprint right away to get away from the center. Now you can let him drop. He's going to drop back a little bit faster and then actually do some drift steps to create that extra separation from the defensive linemen that are obviously coming after him. So then he can flip it over the new pass trajectory and you're off to the races. So again, it's all about timing and realism and what guys do in real life. And here's a couple of them in action here. There's a screen drop. Aaron Rodgers, Packers are one of the best screen teams in the NFL. And you see Aaron Rodgers, there's his little drift step, and then nice little drop shot off to Ryan Grant. And here's a 7-stepper with a hitch step built in with the deep out corner, or actually that's a corner route, the cover 2 corner. So you kind of see the timing, how right as the receiver's coming out of his break. There's the Drew Brees back pedal. That's specific to the Saints. You watch any Saints fans and notice they love to throw screens out of that. So, again, stuff that reference we got from watching the game film, just trying to get exactly what teams do in real life.
And if you're just now joining us, we do want to reiterate that this is not final visuals. This is not final gameplay. This is still pre-alpha, so keep that in mind when you're watching these replays. We want to show you as much as we can, like where we are, but, usually we don't show stuff until it's final, and this we're kind of getting you behind the scenes early.
We'll watch that back pedal one more real quick. And a nice little flip out. You see the trajectory.
Yeah.
Yeah, this all adds to the authenticity of the game, makes it realistic to what you're watching on Sunday.
Another big thing, we've added a lot of new quarterback animations, new faster deep pass and throw on the run animation. So last year we had the big wind up, like the Hail Mary animation where the guy almost takes a crow hop almost. And that took forever. It led to a lot of user frustration. People were saying they thought they should have got the pass off, and they were right. And so we got rid of that. That will only play when you're trying to throw at 65, 70 yards in desperation mode. Got a new faster deep pass. And then throwing on the run, we had another, that was a big issue for people too, is forcing the setups on those animations. So we removed all the setups. If you're on the run, you're going to play an on-the-run pass. There is some drawback to that. Again, if you're a right-hand quarterback running to this side, throwing back across your body, that's a tough throw, and you're going to be penalized for it. You're not going to be able to get as much power on it. So you're going to run the risk of throwing interceptions doing that. But it's real, because you can't do that in real life. And we want to try to get people to throw the correct way.
Sure.
New shovel passes. Brett Favre was the king of this back in the day, and you see guys, I think Matt Hasselbeck threw a 70-yard touchdown this year against the Jags. I remember he was running, just flipped it out to, I think, Kenny Britt, and he broke a bunch of tackles.
Tony Romo will try that too sometimes.
Romo, yeah. My boy Tebow, he does it. So, it's just cool. And these will play in situations where instead of a full wind-up, when a guy is only 4 or 5 yards away, you don't want to wind up and throw a bullet at him. You'll just simply flip it. And we got the underhand animation, the Favre special, so they look pretty cool. And then more realistic pump fakes. Steeler fans, their boy Big Ben is the master of this. And we've kind of sped them up so they're more realistic, so you get control back right away, which is good. You don't want to be tied into a long pump before getting control. You just kind of want to do something quick, both on the run and in the pocket. And new, more effective QB avoidance moves. Now, we've had this in the past. There's been 4 when you're in the pocket on the right stick. We added 8 now for all the different directions, and they're faster, they're more effective, they can help you break out of sacks. So just a nice way to, or if you just want to quickly step up in the pocket, like I said, it's all about footwork and balance for quarterbacks. So those are a nice new addition as well.
Very cool.
Moving on. Oh, here's a couple screenshots. Here's Big Ben pumping on the move here. So, again, these are all works in progress.
Right.
And then here's a new throw on the run. Alex Smith, nice little animation rolling out. So, these feel good and authentic. And then here's your boy Romo. I had to slip that in for you.
Oh, yeah.
Little shovel pass animation. You see the running back's only a few yards away, so he just flips it out with his left hand right there, and he can take off with it. Play action. Another big change.
Right.
Huge.
This is one of my favorite new features right here.
Yeah. So the big thing here is it's always been, people have been afraid to call it, oftentimes led to sacks. So what we did is first thing we did was added new faster handoff animations. We sped up the quarterback, got him away from the center quicker, got the running back in and out of the fakes quicker, more realistic, and then added more block and release routes to the plays. So, talking to different NFL coaches, we had Brad Childress in the studio a few months ago, and, we kind of asked him about play action. He's like, yeah, you don't generally see all 5 receivers going out on routes. So we added more block and release routes so that, like, tight ends and running backs especially, they will actually, after the fake, he'll check and look for any free rushers before releasing out on his route. So that's, again, more realistic like you see in NFL. And then we've tuned the defender fake out chances. Again, something you see, ends crashing hard. They'll sometimes fake, chase after the running back because they think he's got the ball. They have to protect that first. So we've kind of tuned that a little to happen a little more and realistically. And then the big change, the new abort play action mechanic. And what that is as your quarterback is in his handoff fake animation, you can break out of that with the right trigger, and it'll just go right into a setup. And then the running back will go into a block. So again, as a user, if you see a free rusher coming, you can just hit that abort button, and then he'll set up so you can get rid of the pass right away.
Right.
Yeah, it's a great mechanic in avoiding sacks on play action. And, it's realistic in terms of running. Say it's, 2nd and 3 and you want to take a shot down the field. You're going to run that and actually fake out some defenders with your play action fake.
Right. And one reason people were afraid to run the play action in the past is because you have to watch the animation play out.
Exactly.
And so that's what this allows you to escape from.
Right.
If you see the pressure, if
Yeah.
you engage 8, all of a sudden you're like, okay, I got to get out of this quick and dump it off.
Yeah, this offers a lot more control for the
Right.
user as a quarterback.
Yep.
Sure.
So what do we got here? Oh, here's a couple actions here. That's the old bootleg that was in last year's game, kind of slow and drawn out. So this is him breaking out and how much quicker he gets out of it. So it's night and day as far as giving the user the ability to, when they recognize like something like you're saying when you were stuck and you were done, now you have the opportunity to kind of break out of it. Here's a shotgun. That's it now. It's just almost like a quick flash, and it kind of shows the hand, and it just gets out of it. So it's really a nice addition.
There's last year's.
Yeah,
I saw that a few times.
Yeah. So yeah, new passing, a lot of new things with the quarterback. It's great, but if you don't have receivers that catch the ball, it's not fun. And this year we made a big investment in a new catching system. It kind of ties in directly with our total control passing and being able to put the ball into space, and the receivers, being able to play different animations. And the goal with this is obviously 100% catch coverage. It's horrible when you make the correct read and then all of a sudden the ball hits the guy in the face or it just goes over his head and then nothing triggers and you're like, what happened? So the goal, like I said, is 100% catch coverage. And then what it also is for us, the new tool, it makes it so much easier to test and to find issues. This year, the new system, it takes us like 15 minutes or so to actually save off the catch data issue, and then our animators and dev guys, Casey Keltner's in charge of all that, they can fix it right away and get it back into the game. And whereas last year it took like almost a day to get all that done. So it's a lot less frustrating for those guys that are working directly on it. And this big investment leads to over 430 new catch animations. So that's huge. It's just, complete fresh look. See a lot of the animations that have been in there for years are kind of out of there now. And then you'll see new, on the run catches, standing catches, you name it. Also includes swats for defenders too. So you see a bunch of new SWAT animations, pitch catches. So it's really nice. It's shaping up, and we're real excited about that as well.
Just as someone who's been able to play it as it's being developed, the user catches just feel amazing this year. That's just one thing I've noticed. I mean, it's really, really fun to go out there and play wide receiver now.
Yeah, again, it adds more control to the user and lets them kind of control the outcome of the game a little bit more, which is always a great thing.
Right.
And you guys are jumping ahead on me because
Oh,
that's our next slide.
sorry.
So here's just a couple in action. Again, it's real early. We just kind of got these last minute before we left Orlando back to the studio, and just kind of a couple new ones that we saw that looked pretty good.
Sure.
So there's my man Percy Harvin.
You'll notice
And there's a nice little slant route on the goal line, and kind of notice the defender didn't magically jump up and swat that. So
right.
and there's Crabtree on a fade. So some obviously only showing a few because it's still early on, but trust me, there's a lot of new ones in there.
430 or plus. Or whatever.
A lot of cool ones. It's huge.
And a segue here, user-controlled catching. You kind of briefly mentioned it. It's one of the biggest areas of user frustration, just getting feedback from community guys and message boards and everything that it's frustrating. And I personally, for myself, I've never been good at it. It's something that our users are almost afraid to try to click on just because it's difficult and you want to run them out of the way. So we've kind of redesigned the control. So when you click on, it's kind of helping them stay on the correct path, because obviously your intent is to catch the ball, and we want to help you kind of position yourself. Hardcore guys, it's not going to mess any of those guys up that are already masters at it.
I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like just it gives you even more control with all the new animations. It's just yeah.
And we've definitely had several play tests and community day events and guys coming in, and we wanted to make sure that we didn't make those guys upset. And then fortunately we've gotten a lot of positive feedback on it, so we're excited about that. And like I said, it helps the user out, and that's always a good thing.
Right.
And there's just a nice picture of Roddy White. I like the Falcons, so thought I had to throw him in there. Another big change to the passing game is the fact now that timing matters, and what that means is this has been a controversial one that on the other times we've brought this up, but so I'll try my best to explain it. The whole idea here is it's all based on real life, and the icons are going to be dimmed out at the beginning of the snap for routes that are longer, that take longer to develop, and it's based on when the receiver would actually be expecting the pass in real life. So a cover 2 corner that we talked about and showed earlier, he's not going to look back until he's coming, about ready to make his last cut towards the corner. So at the beginning of the play, the icon's going to be dimmed out, and what that means is you can still throw it to him, but if he's not going to play a catch unless you actually click on and do it yourself.
Right.
The whole idea again was to try to emulate what happens in real life. You don't see quarterbacks just get the ball and immediately throw it to a guy that's got a streak route right off the line of scrimmage. Now we do have special rules in place so that if a guy over him is blitzing, so he would light up because it's like a hot read. As they pass through zones, as they come out of chucks on cover 2 animations and that window between the corner and the safety, they'll be lit up in those situations. But they won't light up unless they're at a point to where they would realistically expect the pass.
Right. And one of the best examples of what you just said was guys last year would put their tight end on a streak route, snap the ball, and immediately lob it up to him, and he just come down with it.
Yeah.
That this year, if you do that, it's going to sail over his head unless you click on and user catch it.
Or sail behind him, hit him in the back. One of the things about this, the icon doesn't mean he's open. So when it lights up, it doesn't mean throw me the ball, I'm open. It means I'm looking. If you want to throw it, I can go and try to catch it.
Right. And like you said, if some guy sends an engage 8, just like a real tight end, it's going to be like, okay, they're blitzing, I'm going to look for a quick pass.
Yep.
Okay.
And then again, it's another way to try to help users understand timing and the correct time, when they should throw it. Tie in with the dropbacks and all that. So. And here's just a couple screenshots, or one here, I'm not sure. So you see right away, like the A and Y receivers here, the slot receivers, they're on slant routes and drags. I think one's on a slant, one's on a drag. So they're lit up pretty quickly because that's, they're right off the snap, so they're expecting the throw. The guys on the outside have deeper routes, they're not lit up. So read and react defensive AI. So we've done a lot of changes on the offensive side of the ball. You've heard that. We haven't forgot about the defense. And the big thing here is with this new read and react defensive AI system is our goal is to eliminate the psychic DBs. We're hoping they're gone. We're making a very concerted effort to eliminate those and to bury those guys and then have them never come back. And obviously people complain about it, and rightly so. It's not real, right? You don't see Darrelle Revis just playing picks and catches and swats without actually seeing the ball thrown. So if they can't see the ball, or if they can't see the receiver when he makes a cut, they're not going to be able to react. So it's just all based on having to see what's going on in front of them, behind them. They're going to react based on what they can actually see. And here's just a quick video showing how the DB breaks when the receiver cuts. You kind of see how he turns, and so
doesn't psychically follow him on his route.
Right, yeah. Like last year's game, he would have probably turned around and been sprinting down the field, and then magically cut just when the receiver cut. So now you can see how he's in a better position. He actually sees everything happening. He starts to break up field, and he's like, oh, the guy's running in route. So again, just like how guys do it in real life.
Right.
Another big part of the read and react defensive AI system is the new defensive alignment and the real defender positioning. So, over the years we've gotten to talk to different, at the time they were defense coordinators, guys like Rex Ryan, Mike Smith. And they've kind of told us about, if their guys don't align correctly before the play starts, they have no chance. And Clint, you can probably attest to this. I mean, just if you see defenses out of correct alignment, that you're just going to audible that way and run and gash them.
Absolutely. You can just read it and just change your play. Yeah.
Right.
And so we kind of revamped the entire system based on real lettering and real rules with the idea of the best on best principle, which means you don't want linebackers covering slot receivers. You want Revis going in the slot receiver covering somebody. You want Champ Bailey going over and covering a receiver and not on a backside fullback or tight end or something, which doesn't make sense. So we've kind of gone through and revamped that more realistically in that manner. We've added some new techniques, some off-man coverage, which you'll see on the two-man underplays. They'll play, off-man. That's when they're playing off a little bit deeper. Last year's game, they were lying, like most formations had them at like 4 yards. Now they'll be at 7 or 8, which ties into read and react, the vision. So they'll be deeper off so they can see the stuff happening in front of them. But again, that's based on what we saw, like teams were lining up in real life off the coach's tape. Trail technique, that's the two-man under stuff where they're playing inside because they know they have safety help over the top, so they kind of try to get underneath and force the quarterback to throw it over them because they know they got help over the top. And then split techniques, just an alignment for the linebacker based on, he kind of splits the in man in the line of scrimmage versus the outside receiver. Some ball and air improvements, new catch tackles.
New catch tackles.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with all the new catching and passing improvements we made, we had to do some of this stuff on defense so you'd be able to counter it. We don't just want unstoppable offense, even though it'd be really fun.
Yeah.
That's not the NFL. So catch tackles is just another way to defend the passing game. You can actually jar the ball loose out of the receiver's hands, things like that.
And then light a guy up when he's going over the middle.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. But yeah, the community day guys, we had we showed this to. They're high-fiving us and really excited about this because we've had a lot of legacy issues.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with them. They said this is one of the best improvements to the new Madden, and it really is. I mean, the defensive backs are in better position than they've ever been, and I mean, they can cover things like they've never been able to cover before, but they have to do it realistically.
Right.
It has to be authentic, and I think that's what we've done.
Another big change to this is the ability to disguise coverages. I mean, that's huge. You always hear about the chess match between an offense and a defense, the coordinator trying to figure out what the other coordinator is doing. And the big thing defense does is they disguise their coverage. But in previous versions of the game, it was real easy to tell if it was man or zone. You simply take a man, move in a motion. If the guy followed him, you knew it was man. So this year's game, we have dynamic motion adjustments. And what that means is, say you call cover 3, you take your outside receiver and motion him across the field. That corner is going to follow him across the field, and the defense is going to zone. They're going to swap zones. So you'll be like, oh, what you used to think was man, and now you snap it, and all of a sudden they're all dropping into hook zones and deep third, and you're like, uh-oh. So it's just another way to kind of counter what the offense is doing to give the defense an ability to disguise coverage. There's also a way to kind of base align to the default sets. So if you don't want your guys to align at all, you just want to come out in a vanilla, the base formation, no matter what play you call, you can do that as well, just as another way to kind of help disguise.
And all the best guys at gameplay generally just know how to disguise their defenses really well.
Yeah.
So this example here, you see is 2-man. You see how Greer is over him, and now this is against cover 2, and you see him follow him over. So you don't, there's no giveaways as to what their defense is actually doing. And now here's the off-man technique I talked about, cover 1. You see you can't see me point, but but I need the telestrator. Here again against zone, against cover 4. It's the same exact look, but you see Greer come across on Jordy Nelson. And
it looks like to the offense that he could be, because you're not going to see the bubbles, it looks like he could be in man-to-man.
Exactly. That's the whole idea, is to kind of act like you're in one thing, but you're actually in something else. So, we're real excited about this. And
once again, not final gameplay, still pre-alpha. See any little bugs or hitches here and there. This is far from final, so keep that in mind.
Some additional improvements.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Clint run with this one.
Yeah, so we did make some tuning to our special teams play. First was our punt coverage. We now have them filling their realistic lanes instead of just all running down the field in a little bunch of men. We got them, flaring out, getting into their lanes and covering punts appropriately. They also have read and react on punt coverage, correct? So I mean, they have to be able to see everything as well. Punt returns is I'm actually really excited about. We put in some new formations and added better wedge blockers, so we have more guys coming back to help the returner after he catches the ball. We want to make punt returning fun, and we're still working on that, and I hope that we're able to get there. But special teams is looking a lot better this year.
Very cool. Yeah, no, it was a source of frustration sometimes on punt returns last year just because of the blocking and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the new formations we added, we actually took straight from NFL film that we watched, and we wanted to give the user a little bit more variable in what he or she wants to select in terms of a play call, in terms of how many blockers you can drop back, or how many people you want to send in to try to block the punt.
Right.
So here's just a quick screenshot, just kind of showing the. You see the Cowboys are on punting here, and they're kind of. You see them all, and they fall in the new lanes, and then you see the wedge blockers for the Falcons here. You see the 3 guys coming back, which is one of the new formation changes. Now we have 3 guys back to wedge block. So it's just, again, work in progress,
Right.
but definitely looking to try to improve that special teams. So there we go. Play calling improvements, another big area of the game where we've had some issues in the past, and we wanted to do some work there. And one of the first things we did was improve the CPU red zone play calling. So we were getting a lot of, if you were doing game flow or playing against CPU, you would see them calling strange, 4 verticals on the 10-yard line, stuff like that. It just didn't make sense. So we kind of went through and eliminated all those and got those out of there. So they're calling more realistic plays, shorter passes in those type situations.
Right.
2-minute drill play calling. Again, a lot of those AI groups were set up so that they would 4 verticals is the predominant play, and the CPU was just not doing well in those situations because they were trying to chuck it deep when they can take some underneath stuff. So we kind of retune those AI groups as well to call more realistic plays and safer plays for the CPU to be able to convert and to be a little more effective. A new goal line AI pass AI group, and what we did there is watching teams, especially like the Saints. I've seen them on the 1-yard line there in shotgun. Teams are doing that more and more now instead of, getting down in so like 3rd and goal from the 3, you see teams in shotgun or spread type sets versus the old days, they'd be in goal line or I-form tight or something like that. So we kind of made that group more of a, like what you see in real life, more spread out formations and more, short passes and fades and slants and stick plays, stuff like that.
Legend here can tell you that ever since I got to EA, I've been all over him on the AI group.
Yeah, he's helped me out a lot.
Want to know why 2-minute drills, so certain teams are calling plays, and it's just so much more improved than it has been in the past.
Very cool.
And we also had a new conserve time AI group, and what that means is the situation where you see teams in a lot of times where they're up 17 points in the 4th quarter, and the defense kind of goes into conserve mode. They're in a lot of deep zones, 2-man, just stuff that, they're not trying to give up the big play, but the offense, will also realize that and call shorter passes. They know they can go right down the field by taking what the defense gives them. So you'll see should see more success by the CPU in those type of situations. And game flow, if you're using that to call plays that help you have a better chance of completing passes.
Sure.
Some real quick playbook additions. One of the big things, obviously, with the NFL tool that we have, the video, we have the same film that the coaches watch. Anthony White and myself are the 2 guys that do the playbooks. Clint's helped us out with, he did a lot of the defensive research, did a lot of the offensive research for us as well. And, some of the new offensive formations. Gun empty ace Patriot. You watch the Patriots, Aaron Hernandez, Rob Gronkowski are on the field just about the entire game, it seems like. And it's a new formation kind of showing what they like to do with those 2 guys. Gun heavy Panther, which is a Cam Newton special, down near the goal line. I think that'll be a fan favorite.
Helped me win a fantasy football league last year.
Yeah, he was very good. And then gun trips Y ISO. What that is you see teams like the Bengals and the Saints and these teams with the great tight ends, the Jimmy Grahams, that they like to isolate their tight end on the opposite side of the trip formation. So they can do isolation one-on-one routes backside to those guys. And so that's a nice one. And then, defensive formations.
Yeah, so just some of the new ones that we added that are really cool is nickel NASCAR, which is something that you've seen the New York Giants use, where you have all kinds of defensive ends on the field. So we're letting the user put 3 to 4 defensive ends on their defensive line at once to rush the passer. Nickel wide 9, you see this with a lot of, Philadelphia Eagles run this. You got those ends real wide because they don't want you running outside and they want to just get a pass rush, straight pass rush all day. And then, formations like quarter 1-3-7 where you literally only have 1 D lineman on the field, 3 linebackers, 7 DBs, things that you see on Sunday, and we just try to keep putting that stuff in more and more.
And again, a lot more team-specific defensive formations this year than we've ever had that, really kind of the teams like to use certain personnel based on what they have. They want their best guys out there rushing in certain situations. So we kind of really emphasize that. Like I said, Anthony White and Clint did a great job of doing the research and finding all those realistic formations. And here's just a screenshot. This is actually the Giants and their NASCAR package. You can't really see them, I guess, from this view, but trust me, they're all there. And Cam Newton.
Tuck, OC, all their defensive ends there.
Yeah, and then this is actually another new formation for the Panthers. That it's wide trips TE slot, I believe what we called it, and just the tight ends are becoming so huge in this league now, and this is just one to have Greg Olson's lined up there in a slot. Another big change. A bunch of user frustration here, guys that fans of our NCAA franchise as well as Madden that like to play both. Just kind of going back and forth and thinking you're pump faking and you get sacked because it does something else, or thinking you're throwing the ball away and you pump fake and you want to break the controller. So we just went ahead and we got both franchises on board with doing some during play controller alignment. So throw the ball away is going to be the same in both games. Pump fake is going to be the same. QB avoidance is going to be the same. Pitch and fake pitch. So all that stuff is the same, so you can do both, and it just kind of helped the fans that like to play both games. So that's it for the deck. I know, Clint, one more additional thing if we want to talk about it real quick.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
we're over.
A little short on time, but we got to get to this.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, we can make it quick. We have actually made some additions to the offensive and defensive line, primarily offensive line. That's my specialty.
Right.
So I just noticed, I've been a player at the end of EA Sports games for years, and I always noticed the offensive line just getting dominated, giving up way too many sacks. So we have tuned it that they're better in pass protection. There's better interaction. There's more time in terms of engagement going on between the offensive and defensive line, and that's still a work in progress, but it's something that we've definitely started this year.
Absolutely. All right, thanks guys for joining us once again. That's Larry Rehart, Clint Oldenburg, talking about gameplay. We do want to remind everyone we will have a gameplay part 2 webcast later on. Our next one, though, is May 14th on the audio enhancements. I want to remind everyone to check out Sports Nation on ESPN at 5 p.m. Eastern, and that's where we'll find out who's on the cover of Madden NFL 13.
Exciting day.
They're ready for the cover shoot outside right behind us, literally right behind us, and I'm pretty excited to find out who that cover guy is. Once again, you can find our webcast on easports.com/Madden. And if you have any questions regarding gameplay or the presentation stuff that we just talked about, send them to us on Twitter with the hashtag Madden NFL 13. Did I leave anything out?
I think we covered it.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm AJ. For everybody else, we appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Hello, friends. Jim Nance alongside Phil Simms, and you have to love this matchup. It's one of the great rivalries.